It was a wild finish to the Cleveland series yesterday. Chris Perez, wild pitch in the bottom of the ninth, scored Carlos Guillen. That capped a 3-run rally for the Tigers. Comeback victory as they swept the Cleveland Indians out of town. Today, a new opponent comes to town. It's a great day for baseball here at Comerica Park. We're glad to have you with us as we bring you Game 1 in this 3-game series featuring the Kansas City Royals and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen, glad to have you with us. Game 1 of this series against the Royals. The Tigers have now won 5 of the first 6 this season. Rod, good pitching matchup today. One that we saw in Kansas City earlier in the week. Scherzer and Hochevar, and this should be a good one today.
A lot of people didn't know exactly what they were going to get when David Dombrowski traded Edwin Jackson to the Diamondbacks to bring back Scherzer, but people had to be impressed with his very first start as a Tiger. He had a very good fastball in Kansas City. At times it was overpowering. He had a lot of tilt, a lot of run to it, and the ball was moving all over the place. One of the pitches we'll watch today is this power changeup. It's an outstanding pitch. He will throw it to right-handers. He will also throw it to left-handers. The key for Scherzer is make sure you limit the amount of pitches that you throw in any one inning. If you are the Kansas City Royals, you have to be pleased with your former #1 pick, Hochevar, who was tremendous in that game. 6+ innings, did not give up an earned run. He deserved better fate, but did not get the win in that game. He got a no decision.
All right, Tigers have won 4 in a row, looking to make it 5 straight. And with more in our coverage today, let's go to the Call Sam Studios and John Keating.
All right, Mario, thanks. Yeah, we were just hanging around, getting ready to watch some baseball with you, and decided, to put on a tie.
For 3 or more home runs in this game. Bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. You can find a copy of the box score in your newspaper or at the Tigers page on FoxSportsDetroit.com. All right, hey, there's Trey Hillman, and here's his starting lineup. It is presented by Honda Bluefield today. David DeJesus leads it off. He is in right field, followed by Scott Podsednik in left. Alberto Casaspo is at third base. Billy Butler cleaning it up. Then Rick Ankiel, Jose Guillen, Their bottom three is Jason Kendall, Unieski Betancourt, and Chris Getz. Here is the scouting report on Max Scherzer. It is presented by Scott's Lawn Pro.
It was a dandy debut by Max Scherzer last Wednesday night in Kansas City. 6 innings, just 1 hit, no earned runs. Took a no decision in that game. He has got a power changeup, one of the better changeups in all of baseball for a right-handed pitcher. He'll throw quite a few of those today. And he has simply dominated right-handers in his brief career to the tune of a .218 batting average. Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively. Always presented by Beaumont Hospital. 13 assists, 13 putouts, that is, for Austin Jackson in center field. Guillen getting a start in left today. Ordonez is in right. You've got Inge. You also have Santiago Rayburn in the infield with Cabrera, and Avila is behind the plate today, with Laird getting the afternoon off, at least at the start.
Well, the sun is shining today, but it without question is a crisp afternoon here. Game time temperature hovering in the mid-50s, so we'll keep an eye on that here today. No rain in the area, that's a good thing. And David DeJesus is leading it off. Here comes the first pitch of the ball game from Max Scherzer, and misses down low, 1-0. DeJesus, Podsednik, and Alberto Callaspo. 55 degrees our game time temperature today. DeJesus batting .273. Missed it outside, run it to 2-0 on the KC leadoff man.
And we talked about the fact that Scherzer can dominate a right-handed batter. Therefore, first 3 hitters that Scherzer will see today will be batting from the left side.
There's a strike call. Phil Cuzzy goes up with the right hand. That's why. Look at the numbers that the righties have put up against him. Only .218, lefties .269. 2-1 on DeJesus. 3 balls and 1 strike. Royals come to town with a record of 2 wins and 4 defeats. Tigers took 2 out of 3 from Kansas City to start the year. That was at Kauffman Stadium. 3-1 pitch is a strike, 3-2. And then Kansas City lost 2 out of 3 to the Boston Red Sox. Full count on the leadoff man, DeJesus. And he hits one on the ground and through, a base hit out of the reach of Ryan Rayburn down there at second base. Leadoff man is on for Kansas City. And that's going to bring up Scott Podsednik.
Kansas City will run. They're off to a pretty good start this year from a running standpoint. They have stolen 10 bases as a team, and they have not been caught yet. However, DeJesus, their leadoff hitter, is not a true base stealer. Podsednik in the batter's box, however, is.
And because of his speed, Brandon Inge is drawn in at third on the grass. Podsednik showing bunt. This is a guy that had 37 infield hits last year with Chicago White Sox. And keep in mind, he didn't play the entire first month of the year. He wasn't called up until May 1st.
A veteran player who knows how to utilize his speed.
Podsednik off to a nice start. .364 batting average. Scherzer missing outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Podsednik well traveled. Back in 2003, he was the runner-up to Dontrell Willis for the Rookie of the Year over in the National League, and Podsednik was with Milwaukee at that time. Mentioning DeJesus last year, he stole 4, was caught 9 times. So for a leadoff guy, you don't normally see stolen base numbers like that.
No, you do not. He's a better base runner than he is base stealer. He goes first to third very well. He can score on all base hits to the outfield, but not a true stealer.
There he goes, bounce back up the middle, and they will get one at second and get the double play. That's a nifty play by Santiago.
Athletic play. If you can see, both guys are pretty much holding their position until the ball got through the infield. Both Rayburn and Santiago are verging on the baseball. Santiago fortunate enough to catch it, tag the base with his right foot, and still get a speedy Podsednik.
So the Tigers continue to turn double plays. They have had a lot of them early on this season.
More than any other team in the American League.
Base is empty now for Alberto Callaspo, and he looks at a ball inside. Kayaspo has hit safely in his last 3. He was one of their top hitters last year at an even 300. Wave and a miss. Kayaspo playing third base these days in the absence of Alex Gordon.
And take a look at this pitch. It's a changeup at 81 miles an hour. Unhittable pitch, really.
2-1.
Scherzer also not afraid to throw that changeup to right-handed hitters. A lot of right-handers these days have gone to throwing changeups to right-handers, but there's still a few that are afraid to throw the changeup to right-handed batters, and the reason for that is usually the changeup from a right-hander kind of fades down and in to the right-handed batter, and that's where right-handed hitters do a lot of damage. Therefore, most changeup guys will not throw that pitch.
2-2 on Kayaspo. That is popped up left side of the infield in foul ground. There is room for Brandon Inge, and that is that for Kansas City. No runs, a hit, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the first at Comerica. Turned in his lineup card this afternoon. It is presented by Big Boy. This is what it looks like. Austin Jackson, Johnny Damon, Maglio, Ordonez are at the top. We've got Cabrera batting cleanup. Guillen's in left. Inge is at third. Avila, Rayburn, and Santiago will be our bottom 3 here this afternoon as the Tigers look for their 5th consecutive win. Austin Jackson will stand against Luke Hochevar, who is ready to go to work. And here we go. In the bottom of the first, it's a strike called on Austin Jackson.
Yeah, that's what Hochevar was able to do on Wednesday night. He was just about first strike on every single Tigers hitter, and he threw lots of fastballs on the first pitch strike.
Jackson hammers it foul, back out of play. 0-2 the count. Hochevar is 26 years old, born in Denver, Colorado. Again, a couple of former #1 picks going at it today. Scherzer and Hochevar. Here's the 0-2. Jackson 3 for 12 on the homestand. He walked a couple of times, scored some runs yesterday, stole a base. He was kind of all over the place yesterday.
How about that win yesterday?
It was a great one.
Boy.
That's line to left field, base hit. Well, the Bernstein advantage brings you the scouting report on Luke Hochevar. Get the Bernstein advantage. We go to bat for you.
One of the things they've been able to trying to get Hochevar to do is slow it down. Not only delivery, but slow down the game when he's pitching in traffic, when there's runners out there. He did that well 5 days ago. He deserved better fate. He got a no decision after pitching 7 scoreless innings against the Tigers. And was it the weather? Hochevar has said himself that he loves pitching in cold weather, and it was a very cold night on Wednesday night in Kansas City.
Well, since he's from Colorado, I guess he would appreciate the cold weather. Today, the temperature is still climbing a little bit. It is sunny, but it's still a little cool out there.
That was good two-strike approach there by Jackson. Hanging breaking ball from Hochevar. He waited for it and drilled it.
Johnny Damon, the batter. Damon was supposed to get the day off yesterday. He was told by Jim Leyland, "You're off today. Enjoy, relax." But Damon, being the veteran, knew that there might be a possibility late in the game that he would have to pinch hit. And he did in that 9th inning. So Johnny said, "I'd go down and take some swings, keep loose during the game." And he drew a walk in that thrilling come from behind victory for the Tigers. Runner bluffing down at first. Big secondary lead there by Jackson. 0-2.
Hochevar does not have a very quick move over to first base, so this is an opportunity that Jackson could use to steal a base should he get the green light from Jim. Tigers don't have a base stealing team, as the Kansas City Royals have displayed in the very first week of the season, but Jackson is one of those guys that can run.
Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Are 0-2 counts usually considered pretty good running counts because they're breaking ball counts?
No, a lot of times 0-2's not good because usually pitchers waste fastballs on those counts, especially when there's a base runner out there. If you've got a non-base runner on first base, then it's a good breaking ball count because that guy usually is not running if he's on first base. Smaller guys, fastball count because you want to give the catcher a time to throw if that runner is running. But if it's a big guy on first base, you might see a breaking ball there because they're not worried about the base runner.
Makes sense. 2-2 on Damon.
Good count to run on here. Hochevar thinking as much.
Johnny Damon, by the way, needs 1 RBI for 1,000 in his career. If he finds a gap here, he'll probably get it. Pops this one up in the air on the infield. The shortstop, Betancourt. And Damon is out, 1 gone. Well, that'll bring up Maglio Ordonez. There aren't too many in baseball right now hotter than Maglio. Maybe the guy backing him up, Cabrera. But these 2 guys have been dynamite. And for Ordonez, he's hit in all 6 so far this year. .462 batting average. How about that series against the Royals? He went 7 for 14.
And the outs that he were making were loud outs. Line drives right at the outfielders. He'd been hitting bullets all season long. And really the hot start that he's gotten off to is really just a continuation of where he was August 1st of last year. Take a look at those numbers.
There's the strike from Hochevar, 0-1.
You could tell in spring training just by watching Maglio take batting practice, it was going to be a different type of Maglio. Maglio's not trying to hit the ball down the right field line as he tried to do a couple of years consecutively. He is looking to do damage every time he swings the bat.
Shattered bat, rolled to third. There's 1, there's 2, a double play, and the barrel of the bat ends up in the stands. So each team with a twin killing early in this one, still no score. strength and stability since 1849. And by Comcast. Call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Back here at Comerica Park, we go to the top of the second, game one in this series against the Tigers and Royals, and still no score. As we go to top of number 2, it'll be Billy Butler leading off against Max Scherzer. It'll be Butler and then Ankiel and then Jose Guillen. Scherzer picked up a double play ball back in the first. Butler, meanwhile, batting .273. Breaking ball drops in right at the knees for a strike, 1-1.
That's a good pitch, especially against Butler. When the count's 1 ball, no strikes. Clearly, Butler looking for a fastball and can only watch the breaking ball go by for a strike. If you have the ability to, when you fall behind good hitters, I mean the best hitters, in fastball counts to throw breaking balls and changeups for strikes, that greatly helps you in getting those guys out. Because you can't throw fastballs by some of your better hitters in the big leagues in fastball counts.
Swing and a miss, and Butler goes down. That's the first strikeout for Scherzer.
It's not often you would say that Billy Butler had a bad at-bat, but that was not a good at-bat by Butler. But I'm going to give the credit to Scherzer. Look at the arm slot he throws from, and look at the run on that fastball. That's about 92 miles an hour, but look at the late life on it. That ball just runs out of the strike zone. He's got the ball running each way, east to west, with his fastball in the strike zone.
Here's Rick Ankiel.
Ankiel got hot after the Tigers left Kansas City.
I would say so. He was just 2 for 12 in that series against Detroit. He's batting .391 right now. And that's courtesy of 7 hits in his last 11 at-bats.
He is a Deadpool hitter, and that's why the infielders are shading him toward second base, toward right field. Just about every hit has been a pull.
Off speed, and Ankiel out in front there, 1-2.
Santiago almost directly behind second base. That fading power changeup is what it's called.
2-2.
Here's Santiago. Here's Rayburn, slightly to pull.
Full count, 3-2. Ankiel has hit safely in his last 3. All 3 in that series against Boston. And he lost in ball 4. It's a 1-out base on balls. First of the game for Scherzer. But we're getting to know Max. He's a new Tiger, and one of the things that he says is a conversation piece, 2 different color eyes.
For me, it's a great icebreaker. It's just a genetic thing that I was born with. I've always had 2 different colored eyes ever since I was a baby, and so for me, I like to have fun with it. It's just something that I was born with, makes me unique, and I like to joke around with it all the time.
And there's a long list of folks, very famous folks, that we'll get into shortly that have the 2 different color eyes. You don't see it very often.
What does he have? 1 brown eye, 1 blue eye?
1 blue, yeah. And you got to believe that he's asked about it over and over and over, but he has a good sense of humor about it. Jose Guillen, the batter, with 1 on and 1 out, just underway today from Comerica Park. We're in the second, no score.
Be careful with Jose. He homered twice yesterday against the Boston Red Sox. And along with Billy Butler, really the only 2 guys that they have on their team with legitimate home run power.
Well, there are some, Rod, that are saying that that's the way the game is going these days, more of a speed, defense, and pitching game, and not so much relying on power.
Well, you got just your big boys, your guys that are 3, 4, 5, usually your power hitters, and everybody else seems to be a table setter.
The 1-1, but blocked by Avila. Alex getting the call behind the dish. Saw the importance of blocking the baseball in the game yesterday, didn't we?
Absolutely. The youngster Marson for the Cleveland Indians allowed a couple to get right through his legs. Not to be lost in that last play of the game was the instincts, though, that Carlos Guillen displayed from third base, getting that break and getting that jump in that situation.
He scored with ease.
There were a lot of positives about that game yesterday. Not only did they come back in the game, but the fact that after Verlander left the game, Jim only had to use Bonine and Coke to finish the game, which meant he was able to save his bullpen. Jim also left his regulars in the game when it looked like the Cleveland Indians were going to win that game. And if had he taken guys like Maglio and Guillen out of the game, the Tigers don't come back.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that during the game yesterday, and Leland talked about that before the game today. He said he considered taking Maglio out and thought, you know what, I'm going to wait another inning or so.
It was right at that point.
Yeah, and it's a difficult decision for managers to make. When do you kind of feel that, all right, you know what, we might not get this one. Let me take this opportunity to rest a regular.
Yesterday was one of those games. I mean, it was right on the cusp. I mean, it's the 6th inning. You're down by 7 runs. Verlander started the game. It just doesn't look like a good day for your club. And it would have been very easy for him to take the big boys out of the lineup and kind of get some of the other players into the game at that point in time. Take a look at the instincts here again, what I'm talking about on third base. As soon as that ball goes down, he's off and running, and there was no play whatsoever. Just real good baseball instincts by Carlos.
Meanwhile, 3-1 on Jose Guillen. There goes the runner on 3-1, and it's fouled back out of play. Ankiel was on the move. Phillip now at 3-2. Well, here's another thing that I guess we took from yesterday. The Tigers now, as a team, are 5-1, and Justin Verlander has not had a victory through the first 2 starts. So it's a good thing.
Verlander will be fine. Not worried about him at all.
They've been able to win some games without their ace winning his starts. 3-2 pitch, runner goes again, cued foul. So we'll do it again. Ankiel will turn around, head back to the bag.
Ankiel not getting a very good jump on the 3-2 count, and usually you're not trying to get a good jump because generally speaking you're not trying to steal the base. However, in this situation, should Guillen strike out, Avila's going to have a really nice shot at throwing Ankiel out at second base should he take off again on the 3-2 pitch from Scherzer. Not getting a good jump at all.
Ankiel doing some landscape work now on the base paths. He has 1 steal this year and 1 try. And there he goes again on 3-2, and it's ripped foul third base side.
And you can tell just by some of the balls that Jose Guillen is fouling off against Scherzer, who has some swing and miss stuff, electric stuff, so to speak. And Guillen just about on everything, though. You can tell he's starting to see the baseball real well and take really good swings. That's what a 2-homer day will do for you, though. Build your confidence.
And he needs only 3 home runs to reach 200 for his career. Ankiel was leaning the wrong way, and he just got back.
Ankiel, one of those guys that likes to shuffle off the bag after the pitcher has already gotten on the rubber. And because, look at him go now. Now, once you take that 1 step, he almost got caught in no man's land there with the right foot and couldn't get back because he was shuffling off the bag too late.
Runner goes, and it's driven in the air down the left field line. Foul. We'll rattle around for a souvenir. 3-2. The count stays on Guillen. Jason Kendall waiting on deck. 9th pitch coming up in this at bat. And here it is. Guillen battling right now.
Let's take one more look at Ankiel getting off the base, almost getting picked off. Take a look at how late he's shuffling. Now that right foot is in the air right now, and then he picks over. It's tough to get back to the bag now. He's able to get back that time. Next couple times, he's really shuffling off in a hurry trying to get his lead before Scherzer gets set.
There he goes. And again it's fouled off. And again Guillen hits one off his foot, apparently, or maybe his knee. But down he goes. Looks like it might have been his knee, left knee.
Throw him a changeup, 3-2.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Exmo doesn't lie.
No.
Well, we were talking a few moments ago about the two different color eyes for Max Scherzer, and there are some folks, some somewhat famous folks, that have heterochromia, is what the condition is called.
About Kiefer. Got Mr. Aykroyd. Now you know who this is.
Alexander the Great?
No, Mila Kunis.
Only because somebody explained it to me before the show.
James Seymour. David Bowie. Excuse me.
3-2 on Guillen. That's a lengthy list. And a very diverse list. Runner going again. And guess what? It's fouled off again by Guillen. Pitchers are piling up on this at bat. 11 of them. Meanwhile, Guillen trying to shake off what I'm sure is a barking knee right now.
And Keel getting his sprints from first base as well.
There he goes again. Shattered bat, loop toward third, and look at that play by Inge.
Stop it, Brandon.
Oh, they're going to get the double play.
You got to be kidding me.
Right in front of Santiago, a diving play by Brandon Inge. Flying through the air. As we go to the bottom of the second, a terrific play by Brandon Inge, a diving play.
Good instincts by Brandon, because if he doesn't catch this ball and Santiago has to field it on one hop, they still get the out at first base because Guillen doesn't run well, but they do not get the double play. And that replay, that last one, courtesy of Lincoln Mercury Exmo.
Hochevar back to the hill, and it'll be Cabrera leading it off, then Guillen, and then Brandon Inge.
In that series in Kansas City, when Jason Kendall was behind the plate, and he was behind the plate in all three of those games, he gave Cabrera a steady diet of fastballs, and Cabby didn't miss many of them.
Which was somewhat surprising, I suppose, considering the type of fastball hitter that Cabrera is. Had that home run in the bottom of the ninth to tie a ball game. And when you look at the Cabrera and Ordonez, the Tigers certainly have gotten a lot of good production early on out of 3 and 4.
That last pitch by Hochevar, an indication of just how good an eye Cabrera has. A hair off the plate outside, and he did not swing at it.
There's another broken bat. This one rolled back up the middle. Gets in the dirt, but it's picked by Butler.
It's a good play by Getz. Knowing who the base runner was, he really took his time. He planted his feet, got his body turned back toward first base, which allowed him to get more on his throw. With somebody else running as a second baseman, you'd have to be a little bit more quicker, a little bit more athletic on that play.
And again, Billy Butler, and we've talked about this, has really kind of turned himself into a serviceable first baseman at the very least.
He works hard at it.
Carlos Guillen with one out. Carlos perked up a little bit with a couple of hits late in the game yesterday. And now batting .280.
Carlos realizing how important he's going to be to the Tigers offense this year, because there are just days where opposing teams are going to pitch around Cabrera, and it's going to be left up to Guillen to get that big hit, which he came up with yesterday in the 9th after a Cabrera walk. Cleveland walked a boatload of Tigers in that series.
0-2. They had 9 in the second game of the series alone. One of those was intentional. And they walked quite a few more yesterday. Oh, 0-2. Shaver just missed the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shaver last year 7-13, had an ERA of about 6.5 for Kansas City. Early indications are that he will improve on those numbers this year. First overall pick, as a matter of fact, of the 06 draft. Checked his swing, but he went, said home plate umpire Phil Cuzzy.
Hey folks, here's a lineup of upcoming April in the D live events here on Fox Sports Detroit. Tonight you've got Pistons at Toronto at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit. Tuesday, Tigers Kansas City at 1 on Fox Sports Detroit. Wednesday, Tigers Kansas City at 1 o'clock as well. Pistons at Minnesota at 8 on FSN Plus. And game 1 of Red Wings at Phoenix at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports Detroit. For a complete April in the D telecast schedule, visit foxsportsdetroit.com. We got all kinds of baseball games on our air.
Jam-packed. It's loaded.
And hockey games, basketball, you name it, we've got it.
There's Brandon Inge with 2 outs. Inge has hit safely in all 6. High in the air, deep into left center field. Ankiel is on his horse, still going back, not going to get there. Up against the wall. Inge will pull in with a 400-foot double.
It's an absolute shame that you can hit a ball that far and not have an opportunity to trot all the way around the base pass, but that's exactly what Comerica Park presents to you. It's 420 straightaway center field, and he lifted and separated on looked like a fastball or breaking ball that stayed up. He killed that thing.
Brandon now is hit safely in all 7.
It's a fastball, stayed up.
So the good start continues for Brandon Inge. He came in batting .320. Here's Avila trying to pick him up with 2 outs. Alex 1 for 4 this year offensively. Second Tigers hit of the game. The other a single by Austin Jackson to start the contest. Avila was called up last August from Double-A Erie, and he promptly had a 2-hit game in his big league debut. And the question going into spring camp this year was whether or not he would make the big team or be sent to Triple-A to catch every day. High, towering fly ball to left. But Setnik is under it, and that is that. Had a little trouble with it, but stayed with it. Tigers get a double, strand a man. KCATT.com for details. GMC, we are professional grade. And by Death at a Funeral, Die Laughing this Friday, April 16th. Back here at the ballpark, and a nice day for a ball game. 57 degrees right now in a scoreless game, the Tigers and the Royals. Tigers had a great turnout this weekend for opening weekend here against Cleveland. Royals coming to town for 3, and then it's on the road. A really long road trip coming up for Detroit. And they would like to do so with, well, I guess if they could sweep this series, which is no easy task, they could have 8 wins. But you got to hope the team can at least take 2 out of 3. Jason Kendall leads it off, drops down a bunt, and a good one. Inge will let it roll, and a wise choice.
He is so smart. You can't teach the instincts that Inge has to play the game of baseball. Perfect bunt by Kendall. Many third basemen would have picked this ball up. But Brandon realizes because it's such a great bunt and he knows exactly where the ball is going to break, he simply lets it go because he knows that he's not going to have a play on Kendall. If it stays fair, it's a base hit, but he hoped that it would roll foul, which it did. It's a good play by Brandon.
Somebody forgot to tell Kendall that ball rolled foul. He was standing at first base.
It was a perfect bunt. You know, we talked about Kendall over in Kansas City and the fact that he will, along with the Tigers catcher Gerald Laird, they will bunt for a base hit on occasion. Kendall has done it throughout his entire 15-year big league career.
He'll be followed by Betancourt and then Getz here in the 3rd. That's rolled foul.
Some of the new additions that Dayton Moore, the general manager of Kansas City, has brought to Kansas City have done a pretty nice job so far. Kendall, Pasednik, Getz, to name a few. And Keel also off to a good start.
Bouncing ball to second. Rayburn scoots over to make the play. 1 gone right now in the center back of the studio. John Keating has an update and a preview on the Red Wings playoff series coming up. Keats. I know you will. Just don't bring your Speedo. That's all we ask.
And make sure you put some sunscreen on, too.
Here's Unieski Betancourt. Tigers have turned 2 double plays in this game. There's a line drive. Fair ball just out of the reach of Brandon Inge. It'll go to the corner. Betancourt has extra bases. He's racing to second.
I don't know what it is about the Tigers, but whatever uniform Betancourt is wearing, whether it be Seattle or Kansas City, he plays his best baseball against Detroit. It's like a breaking ball or changeup that just kind of stays up. It doesn't go down, and that's a good swing by Betancourt, keeping that ball fair.
So give the Royals their first extra base hit of the game.
307 with 3 home runs and 17 RBIs for Betancourt against Tigers pitching in 48 games.
Strike 1 to Chris Getz. Off to a .250 start with his new team. Played in Chicago last year. Came over with Josh Fields. They gave up Mark Teahan, a longtime Royal.
Chicago allowed a lot of speed to get away from their team that they had last year. And Pasednik, who stole 30 bases. Getz was good at 25 of 27, which was the best percentage of anybody in the American League.
Getz lines one to short. They're going to double him up. How about that? Another Tigers double play. 3 in 3 innings.
quick start. I mean, there's no question about that. I don't think you can put too much emphasis on it, though, because, you know, you have a long haul ahead of you. But I think based upon all circumstances, you'd much rather get off to a quick start than all of a sudden falling far behind 500, and then all of a sudden you're trying to play catch-up. But I think in our situation, it's been a good start, and hopefully we'll build upon it.
Well, there's no question it's better to be 5-1 than 1-5, but I think there is a message in there as well that there is still a long, long way to go this year.
Well, the Tigers experienced that last year. They spent 4.5 months in first place only to allow the Minnesota Twins to catch them on the final day of the season. So I think with that comment from David Dombrowski, he is thinking about last year.
Ryan Rayburn leads it off. He'll be followed by Ramon Santiago and then Austin Jackson.
It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It's a long, long grind. I know Jim was talking about that before the very first game in Kansas City. He was mentioning how long the season is and how much of a grind it is, and he was ready to go.
Well, and I think that's one of the reasons why he tends to play his bench players as much as he can to keep everybody fresh. We've got Rayburn playing today. You've got Santiago. You've got Avila playing today. There's ball 4 to Ryan. So they all get a chance.
Tigers' plate discipline has been much better in the first 6 games of the year this year. They will take a walk when given a walk, whereas in the past, because they've had so many free swingers, that guys wouldn't take walks. But this year, they're doing a pretty nice job at getting on base.
Well, especially on this homestand. Walks just continue to pile up. Here's Santiago.
And Jim likes to do something a lot of times when Santiago's in that batter's box, whether it be the hit and run, whether it be a sacrifice bunt trying to score first. A lot of trust Jim has in Santiago to play small ball. Santiago had a nice day yesterday as well.
Pitch out and nothing happening.
Trey Hillman knows exactly what I explained to you. That Santiago, one of the favorites of Leland, to put on a play. And now after the pitch out, does Jim put on something? Because most managers will not pitch out on 2 consecutive pitches, but there are a few that will when they just think something's on.
1-1. I think one of Leland's best jobs last year was how he handled that shortstop position. He seemed to have a knack to know how many games in a row Santiago could play or how many games in a row Everett could play. And the mix was just really good at short.
He's got a good feel for managing.
1-2 on Ramon. Adam Everett getting the day off today. Another part of the shortstop tandem for Detroit. 1-2 on Santiago. 4 for 10 to start the year. He's hit safely in his last 3. Checked it. They want the appeal. Yes, he went around. Ryan Onora sends Santiago to the bench.
Coach Avery's got a really good slider today, and what has allowed him to get to the slider has been the fastball. Santiago does go too far. We saw a check swing by Carlos Guillen as well earlier on the same exact pitch. That ball almost hit Santiago in his left knee. But really good depth to that slider this afternoon by Hochevar.
Top of the order now. Austin Jackson singled back in the first inning. He rolls it foul on the check swing. We're telling the story a little bit yesterday about Jackson and how he actually considered playing college basketball at Georgia Tech and playing professional baseball as well. The Yankees had drafted him. But I think he figured that it was just going to be way too much trying to keep up his studies and play 2 sports, one of them professionally, that he decided to just concentrate on baseball.
He made a wise choice.
That's line to right field. Base hit. Single for Jackson. He's 2 for 2. The Tigers have 2 aboard.
I've been impressed with a lot of things that Jackson has been able to do in a Tigers uniform, but I've been really impressed with the way that he's been able to take that inside pitch and hit it the opposite way just by keeping his hands inside the baseball. He's done a nice job of that. Take a look at this right here. The hand direction. You see the bat going straight down here, but the head is down, but the hand direction was one that was straight back through the middle, which allows the bat to stay over the heart of the plate.
Now Johnny Damon, who popped up his first time. Tigers have something going here. 2 on, 1 out. Ball 1.
They need to get Johnny going. He's at 143 right now, although you shouldn't be worried about him because when the leaves turn brown, he's usually a guy that scored you 100 runs and gotten you 150 hits and stolen you a bunch of bases and played some really good baseball for you. He's a proven winner as well.
One more RBI to get to 1,000. He has an opportunity here.
200 home runs.
It's not a part of Damon's game that I think you think too much about. A lot was made about all the home runs he hit last year in New York because of that ballpark, but he's hit a few in his career, and he drives one down the right field line. That ball is hooking, and it will go foul. That was almost right on cue.
Yes, it was.
2-1 on Damon.
Damon's only made 2 All-Star teams. Very tough for table setters to make the All-Star game, even though they may be leading the league in runs. And usually your outfielders that make All-Star teams in the American League are your guys that hit the baseball where the grass doesn't grow, and that would be in the seats and drive in lots of runs.
Well, Damon is also one of those guys that is so well liked in the game, and it's funny to watch him operate in ballparks. Really, it doesn't matter whether it's the home team or the visiting team. Everybody seems to know Johnny Damon. He's always shaking hands. People are coming up to him and saying hello. Made a lot of friends in this game along the way.
It's good to see.
Slap foul. I remember here a couple of years ago when Johnny Damon was a member of the Boston Red Sox, we had a Little League team on the field, and Johnny came walking out of the dugout. Nobody had asked him to do it. He simply walked over to the Little League team, started shaking hands, said hello to the boys, and said, "Hello, I'm Johnny Damon."
And you know that was an absolute thrill for those kids.
Absolutely. In a visiting ballpark, nonetheless. Inside, it hit him. Damon is hit by the pitch, and that's going to load him up.
Hey fans, save $5 on all Comerica Park mezzanine seats in April and also for select games in May. With this deal, you can see the Tigers take on their Central Division rivals for only $10. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Well, what an opportunity now with your big boys coming up.
More than likely, if Maglio gets a first pitch fastball from Hochevar, and he is going to jump all over it because that's what Hochevar has done a lot of in the 2 games he's pitched against Detroit. Lots of first pitch fastballs.
Bouncing ball hit to third. This might be 2. Here's the relay from the second baseman. Gets, and Butler unable to hold on to it. Oh, what a break there for the Tigers. Rayburn and Jackson both score.
Tigers have been taking advantage of shoddy defense that they have seen against Kansas City last week and also Cleveland over the weekend. Maglio did get a fastball. He got jammed. Nice job by Damon putting some pressure on Getz, which caused Getz to throw the ball into the dirt. Jackson running with his head on a swivel, sees the play in front of him and able to scoot home as well. Billy thought for sure he had picked that.
He just rolled away from him. Fielder's choice E4 on that play. 2-0 Detroit. Here's Cabrera. He's 0 for 1. Now Hochevar has fallen behind. 2 balls to no strikes. Hochevar last year had a horrible second half. He was 1-10 in the second half last year with an 8 ERA over his last 13 starts. But they were encouraged with his first start this season against the Tigers.
In the past, this is where Hochevar has gotten himself into trouble when pitching in traffic or a bad play behind him. He doesn't know how to put that behind him, but there are a lot of young players that are in that same type of situation. But what they're trying to get him to do is slow the game down in these types of situations.
High towering fly ball right field. David DeJesus to the corner to retire the side. Tigers get a couple of runs courtesy of a throwing error. The last time the Tigers left 18 men on base in a 9-inning game. It's multiple choice today, so you've got a shot. A, 1979, B, 1931, C, 1908, D, it never happened. Last time the Tigers left 18 on. And 9-inning game before yesterday, of course. Of course, the Tigers did it yesterday, so before yesterday. Here come the Royals now down by 2, and it will be the top of their lineup, David DeJesus.
That's a lot of runners left on base.
And really, I didn't notice it until like the 8th inning. We had 16, and I thought, man, that's just a ton of guys left on base. But a win is a win despite that number. It's easier to swallow that number when you win a game. Fly ball left field. Carlos under it, and one gone.
It's probably why Jim Leland decided to leave some of his big boys in the game when it looked like the game was lopsided in the 6th when they were trailing by 6 runs, is the fact that they continued to leave lots of runners on base. He just felt like somebody at some time would get a big hit.
Well, that's a good point, and I think Leland kind of alluded to that before the game without actually saying that. He said, you know, there's sometimes when you're behind in a game that you really feel like we can win this thing. We have a shot to come back, and conversely, there are times when you may have a big lead, but you don't feel real comfortable because other teams are chipping away.
Yes, indeed.
And so he has seen both sides of it. When you hang around as long as he has, you certainly will. There's a half swing roller towards short. Going to be a tough play for Santiago. Not in time.
He is crafty in that batter's box. One of the few guys that moves his feet and kind of runs toward the pitcher as the ball is getting toward home plate. And all he tries to do is get the ball past the pitcher because he knows on a routine ground ball, he's already 2 steps out of the batter's box. Santiago, even with a very strong arm, is not going to throw him off. He is low flying right there. And he has 4 steals this year, and he hasn't been caught yet.
Well, that's his game. 37 infield hits last year with the White Sox. There's Callaspo.
He just started doing that last year when he put on the White Sox uniform for the 2nd time. Kind of moving in the batter's box, which gives him a couple of steps out of the batter's box. And he tries to hit a ground ball to the shortstop or to the second baseman. And as I said, because he's already running, very tough play for the middle infielders.
It's the kind of batting stance you see in a softball beer league sometimes on the weekends.
Yeah, it's working for him.
Without the power, though. He just slaps the ball around. 1-1 on Callaspo. 0 for 1 with a pop-up. By the way, the 2 runs the Tigers scored in the third, one was earned, one was unearned, and Maglio got 1 RBI on that ground ball. There goes the runner. Here comes Avila's throw. It's not in time. A stolen base for Podsednik.
That's his 5th, and he hasn't been caught yet. He gets a great jump. Avila really had no shot at throwing him out because of the jump and the time that it took for him to get the ball into his glove. And you also knew that Trey Hillman was not going to sit around all afternoon and watch his team hit into double play after double play.
Yeah, the Tigers turned 3 of them. 5 for 5 this season now for Podsednik, and we have told you that he will swipe third base, so you can't fall asleep on him. In his career, he has 44 steals of third base.
And he's a true base stealer. He's not afraid to run with the left-hander up. Usually guys that are on second will not run with a left-hander up, but Podsednik's not one of those guys. He will try to run even with a left-hander in the batter's box.
In the air toward left, foul ground. Inge, Guillen converge. Inge couldn't quite get there.
I was talking to Brandon before the game today, and I said, you're moving around the field like you're 100%. He says, really, Rod, the only thing that hurts me to do is run. And you can tell by him running right now, he's sort of limping. It doesn't hurt him moving laterally at third base. It really doesn't hurt him when he's hitting. But he says when he's running and when he's trying to stop, that's when he notices it most on the surgically repaired knees that he had operated on in the offseason.
Well, we wondered how he could take the field last year before those knees were even fixed. But he did it the entire second half. And this was after making the All-Star team in the first half and really having a terrific year. But, you know, he wasn't worried about his numbers, where his batting average might end up, where his power numbers would end up. He wanted to go out and help the team. And obviously, when you're in a pennant race, you know, you want to get out there as much as you can if you can help the club.
This cat right here, Kayaspo, tough to strike out. He's one of the best in the American League last year at putting the ball in play with 2 strikes. Polanco also comes to mind. Pedroia doesn't strike out all that often. Very talented second baseman of the Boston Red Sox. And the reason why it's tough to strike Kayaspo out, he doesn't take a full swing with 2 strikes. It's almost like he's just trying to serve the baseball into the outfield.
Here's the 2-2. Backed him out of there. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Kayaspo finished the season last year at an even 300 with 73 RBIs. And that home run off Valverde in the 11th inning. I guess the Tigers tying up a game, and there's a walk. Second base on balls for Scherzer. Here comes Billy Butler. Butler is 0 for 1. He struck out in the second inning. Billy was talking about how he spent a lot of the spring training just trying to get comfortable again in the batter's box. And you often talk about, Rob, when there's 2 strikes in the count, how you spread out a little bit. Butler would do that, get a little bit lower. But he felt that he was doing that earlier in the count as well instead of with 2 strikes. And that's something that kind of got him out of whack a little bit. He pops this one up foul. This will get back toward the seats and out of play. Butler had a terrific year last year with 51 doubles. And he'll hit with power as well. Hit his first home run against Boston on Friday night.
The last thing that Scherzer can allow himself to do right now is to be preoccupied with Pasetnik at second. You know he's got the ability to run, but you've got to have all your concentration on Billy Butler in that batter's box, because if you don't, Billy will hurt you. 50 doubles last year for Butler. 50 of those bad boys. And you know they're legitimate doubles, too. There are no hustling doubles with Billy Butler.
What are you saying?
They're going to the gate.
That's line to left field. Guillen on the run. Not going to get there. Up against the wall. Pasetnik will score. Callaspo headed to third, and Butler has another double as Callaspo gets in there safely, beating the throw.
Take a look at Billy Butler as he stands in the batter's box. He's got a little bit of a toe tap here, a la Sammy Sosa, and he gets geared up for that fastball and absolutely crushes it. Carlos Guillen came up, and take a look at Carlos. He should have came to second base. He's thinking second, and then he stops and comes to third. That ball should have gone to second base to keep the double play in order.
So the first double of the year for Butler puts them on the board, and now they're in great shape with runners at second and third and one out. Ankiel hits one back up the middle. Santiago. That'll tie the game.
I don't know what would have happened in that Ankiel bat had Carlos come up and thrown that ball to second base, which meant that Billy Butler would have been on first. But still, that play could have been a double play.
Instead, Ankiel gets his 6th RBI. We're even at 2. And now with the man at third and 2 outs, here's Guillen.
I brought it up when Pasetnik was on second base, how speed kind of changes the game. First and foremost, Kansas City had already hit into 3 double plays, so there you have Pasetnik. He's still second. And then Butler got a pretty good pitch himself with Pasetnik on second, because it looked like Scherzer was paying some attention to Pasetnik. So speed definitely changes the game.
Royals now have a chance to go ahead. Butler standing at third with 2 outs. Scherzer's 1-1. Royals now about hit the Tigers 4-3. Scherzer was helped out by 3 double plays in the first 3 innings of this game. Here's the 1-2. .65 pitches for Max. Even though he pitched in the National League, faced American League teams in interleague play. And coming into this start, had an ERA of 2.30 in his 5 starts against American League clubs. One of those starts was against the Tigers when he was first called up. 3-2. Off the end of the bat. Guillen lined into that double play. That was a great diving play by Brandon Inge back in the second. That left side of that Tigers infield continues to really play well defensively. Guillen had a lengthy at bat his first time up, and he has just been a pesky out here in this game. He's battling Scherzer again here in the 4th. And he single-handedly is driving that pitch count up. That'll stay in play. Foul ground first base side. Maybe Cabrera going over, and he dropped it. A routine pop-up that might have been drifting a little bit, but Cabrera was there in plenty of time. Ooh, that hurts.
Well, that's why you got to get over to where you need to get to as soon as possible, because when you are running and you are on your heels, as Cabrera is right here, a lot of times you will see the ball go right on the heel of the glove and pop directly out.
They will charge Cabrera with an error, his first of the year, E3, and it gives Guillen new life. There's another pop-up. This one should find the seats again, and Avila will run out of room. So Guillen continues to see a lot of pitches. He had 12 in that first at bat, and now 9 already in this at bat. Swinging a drive way back into left field, and that ball is way gone. Jose Guillen takes advantage of the air. He stays alive and hits a 2-run homer. His third of the season.
Well, now that you know that Jose Guillen is somewhat hot and swinging the ball well, and with 2 outs and a base open, if you get yourself in that situation again, or any situation when you've got a base open, you cannot pitch to Guillen. You simply have to pitch to Jason Kendall. No disrespect to Kendall, but Kendall is not going to hit the ball at the ballpark on most days, but Guillen has that kind of power.
Bouncing ball left side under the glove of Brandon Inge into left, and a base hit for Kendall. So Scherzer, who should be back on the bench after getting the pop-up that was dropped, now has a lot more work to do, and here comes Rick Knapp. Royals answer the Tigers 2 spot in the third with 4 here in the fourth. And KC now has put up 6 hits. Kendall 1 for 2.
You can't go to sleep with Kendall on first base either. He doesn't have tremendous speed, but in a situation like this, when the game speeds up and the pitching coach goes out to the mound to talk to the pitcher, a lot of times that pitcher will forget all about the base runner and take off.
Well, here's a reminder. We're in the home stretch for the 2010 census. It's not too late. Fill out and mail back your census form today. Well, 2 outs. Here is Yuniesky Betancourt, the 8th man to bat in this 4th inning. Strike 1 on Betancourt, who doubled back in the 3rd. Betancourt, known as a free swinger in his days with Seattle Mariners. He was banged up a little bit last year. They acquired him to the Royals from Seattle. Runner goes, and it's shot in the air to right field, sinking, base hit. On his way to third, Kendall. And now the Royals pile up another hit. They have 7 for the game. They have runners at first and third. 2 hits for Betancourt.
Well, you said he was a free swinger, and here you go. That's a fastball off his shoe tops that he somehow just cues into the outfield for a single. With Kendall on the move from first base, he now stands on third.
5 hits in this inning. And here is Chris Getz, the only Royal that has not yet reached base in this game. Ball 1.
Looks like the Royals are going to be a running club this year.
Well, I guess they almost have to out of necessity with the makeup of their club.
Yep.
Lack of power. And you have Getz in the 9th spot. You've got DeJesus, who, while he's not a big base stealer, can run, but Setnik can run. 2-0. It's been a long inning for Scherzer now. This will be the 33rd pitch of this inning coming up. Yes, taking 2-1. Drilled to center field, right at Austin Jackson in his tracks for the out. 9 men to the plate. Big inning for KC. They scored 4 times. Two is our score. The Royals put up a 4 spot as we head to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Carlos Guillen leading it off for Detroit. Guillen and then Inge and then Alex Avila. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us here this afternoon. Mark Isofano, our producer. Brian Moss is directing today from Comerica Park, where the Tigers now will have to come back. Guillen is 0 for 1. He struck out back in the 2nd. And Luke Hochevar pitching with the lead for the first time today. Guillen drops down a bunt foul.
Not a bad idea. Cayaspo down that third was playing about 6 steps in back of that third base bag. Should Guillen have gotten that down, it would surely have been a base hit. Cayaspo also learning third base. He played second base last year for Kansas City. They're going to move him in a couple steps now.
Hochevar's 0-1. Drilled high in the air into right field, hit well. DeJesus back to the wall, and it's out of here. It's gone, a home run for Carlos Guillen.
That is something the Tigers have been very good at this year. And that's after the opposing team has scored a few runs in the top or the bottom of the inning. The Tigers have been able to answer with runs of their own. Take a look at the grip here. Looks like a 2-seam fastball. And we know Kendall will call a lot of fastballs, but you can't throw one by Guillen when he's looking for it. And it doesn't get any better than this. Front foot gets down, which allows him to generate tons of bat speed, and he crushed that.
First home run of the season. Tigers get one back. It's a 4-3 game. Well, he perked up at the end of the game yesterday, and now with a home run here this afternoon. Good news for the Tigers when you consider that they'll need some help from their number 5 spot in the lineup. Backing up Cabrera. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Inge, meanwhile, continues to swing a hot bat. He doubled in his first at bat back in the 2nd. A little bit of tough luck there for Scherzer with that error. It kept the inning going, and then Guillen homered, but his teammates have gotten him one back. Meanwhile, Inge way ahead in the count, 3-1. Popped him up. Betancourt at short.
Hey fans, as soon as the game ends, our coverage continues with Tigers Live here from manager Jim Leland and the players. Plus, we'll break down the game and show you all the highlights. Tigers Live from the Call Sam Studios immediately after game here on Fox Sports Detroit.
Stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, here is Alex Avila, who fly to left field back in the second. Avila now 1 for 5 this season. Rolled toward the right side of the infield for Butler. 2 gone. Well, today's game is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, and it is sponsored by Comcast. So with 2 outs, that'll bring up Ryan Rayburn. Tigers have gotten 1 back in the home run by Carlos Guillen. Rayburn coming off a season in which he set career highs in a lot of offensive categories, including RBIs and home runs. Ryan last year hit 16 homers, knocked in 45. He also set a career high in hits with 76. And the one thing that Rayburn does give you when Jim Leland bats him in the bottom third of the lineup is a little bit of punch, a little bit of extra base potential.
Hit 21 home runs last year combined between Toledo and Detroit. Speaking of Toledo, did you see where the latest Cuban defector, Mr. Chapman, the left-hander of the Cincinnati Reds sign, struck out 10 Toledo Mud Hens yesterday in his professional debut?
I tell you what, boy, Aroldis Chapman is going to be something special. I mean,
he threw 3 fastballs over 100 miles an hour from the left side.
We were talking about that before the game. How many times have you seen a lefty throw 100?
Not that. Randy Johnson didn't throw 100 miles an hour.
So, I mean, I don't know if there were any.
Threw several fastballs at 99 miles an hour from the left side. Toledo's got a good hitting team.
They do. They got an eyeful yesterday. Checked his swing. Mud Hens had 5 hits and scored a run in that game. It was an unearned run. And a 2-1 loss. Three and 2. Ground ball foul. Tigers have 4 hits today. The home run by Guillen was their 4th. They also have a double from Brandon Inge, a couple of extra base hits. Ochaver ready with the 3-2 pitch. Driven down the left field line, hooking, fair ball. There's another extra base hit for the Tigers as Rayburn races to second. 2-out double.
Very important for Jim to get Rayburn going as well. One of the reasons why he's getting the start today, to get his bat going. It's tough when you're a bench player in the big leagues to really gain some consistency because you don't get as many reps as your everyday players. So early in the season, you try to get your role players as many chances as you can.
So give the Tigers 5 hits. That's going to bring up Santiago. Tigers led 2-0, fell behind 4-2, and now it's 4-3. Santiago is 0 for 1. look out. That one hit Gene Lamont. A line drive.
That's why they wear those helmets.
Wow. Gino can laugh about it, fortunately. That thing came whistling off the bat of Santiago.
It's tough when you're trying to watch that base runner at second because you don't want him to get picked off, and you're looking at him with one eye, you're looking at the hitter and with the other eye, and just sometimes you just can't react. That's a tough spot where he's standing right now in that third base coaching box.
One and two on Santiago. Trying to tie it up with a base hit. The 2-out variety. Got him. Strike three called, and 3 strikeouts for Hochevar to end the inning. Tigers get one back, though. Carlos Guillen goes deep. By the Romani Eye Institute, the most trusted name in eye care. Your neighborhood Spartan store. For locations, visit turntospartan.com. And by Death at a Funeral, die laughing this Friday, April 16th. One-run game here as we go to the 5th inning. Tigers down 4-3, and David DeJesus bangs one back out of play 0-1. 9 men to the plate in the 4th inning for the Royals. They scored all 4 of their runs. Max Scherzer back to work here in the 5th. DeJesus, Podsednik, and Callaspo. DeJesus 1 for 2, single and a fly ball. There's the strike called. 0-2 on David DeJesus. Here's the 0-2. These two guys hooked up in a big at bat in Scherzer's first start. It was a scoreless game. DeJesus came up in the 5th inning with the bases loaded, and Scherzer struck him out. One of the big at bats in that game. DeJesus has been a terrific performer for them. Leadoff slot. He lines one down the left field line, or right field line, I should say. It'll go to the corner. Let's see. He's going to try for 2. Maglio fires it back in, not in time. It's a double for DeJesus.
That's the second time we have seen a Kansas City Royals hitter take a ball off his shoe tops and get a base hit with it. Betancourt did it in the last half inning, getting himself a base hit the opposite way. It's a breaking ball that's down. DeJesus goes down to get it and finds some grass in the outfield.
Here's Podsednik. Shows bunt. Infield hit his last time up, which started that 4-run rally in the fourth. He eventually stole a base and scored. He bunts down the first base line. Scherzer off to make the play. And the throw gets away at first base. This will get a run in. DeJesus will score. Podsednik heading to second and beyond. He is coming to third. Here's the throw. Not in time.
Speed kills. He was bunting for a base hit all the way. He was just not trying to get DeJesus over to third. It's a good bunt. Scherzer picks it up. He's got him, but he throws the ball into the runner, which allows the ball to go down the right field line. And take a look at the speed here. And he quickly looks to the right. He sees where the ball is right away. And then he knows he can get to third base because he's looking at Maglio. Maglio doesn't have the ball in his hand. And he quickly challenges the arm of Maglio. Good base running by Podsednik.
Fouled straight back by Callaspo.
That's why they tell you when you run down that first base line, and kids, keep this in mind. Every time you hit the ball in the infield, as soon as you get to the first base bag, you look to the right to see if it's a bad throw. If it's a bad throw, then obviously you can get to second base without the help of your first base coach. By the time your first base coach tells you what to do, a lot of times it's too late.
Ruling on that play was a base hit. The error is charged to Scherzer. Single, E1, no RBI. The second Tigers error this game. And that makes it 5-3. And the Royals in good shape to get another run in now with the man at third and nobody out. And they've got their number 3 hitter up there.
One of the reasons why the Tigers electing not to play the infield in here is, one, they feel like they can come back from a 2-run deficit or even a 3-run deficit. And another reason why they don't play the infield in here is because Callaspo is such a good hitter and Podsednik such a good base runner. And you would run yourself into a bigger inning than it is right now.
Brad Thomas heating up in the Detroit bullpen. 1-2. Callaspo walked and scored a run in the fourth. Has popped up but headed back toward the seats. Vela leaning over, can't get there.
That's really the only way that you can get Callaspo out, is you somehow have to fool him with either a real good fading changeup or a really nice slider down and in, because it's awfully tough to throw a fastball by him because he doesn't have the big swing and he's got really good hand-eye coordination. Puts the ball in play on most plate appearances.
Swing and a miss. So he goes down. That's a start for Scherzer.
That's why he went with the changeup. That's an outstanding pitch by Scherzer. You see the grip, circle change, fading action, bottom of the strike zone.
By the way, the Tigers went that entire series against the Indians without committing a single error, and they have 2 already in this game here today. Tigers have committed 4 errors now on the year total. Here's Billy Butler. Infield coming in now against Butler with 1 out. Shoots it foul, back out of play, 0-1. Talked about how Butler has settled in defensively at first base. When he first came up, there was talk of him being a designated hitter because he could really hit but really didn't have a position, and Butler admitted that I'm too young to be DHing at this point. He wanted to play a position and now has done a really good job at first base.
A couple of years ago, he played a couple games in the outfield, I remember, and left when they were trying to find a home for him defensively.
Well, Billy said maybe a little later on in my career I can DH, but right now I'd like to play the field. The 1-1. That's in the air. Right side, foul ground, long run for Maglio and Rayburn. Rayburn can't get there. 1-2. I mentioned Butler had 51 doubles last year. And last season, he became the first player since at least 1900 to record 4 3-double games in a single season. And I guess that's how you amass 51 doubles. 4 3-double games last year.
Throw him a fastball up. See if you can get it by him.
Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
How in the world did he get his hands on that ball? That bad ball would have hit him had he not swung at it. Scherzer's got some late action on that 2-seam fastball.
Scherzer is approaching 100 pitches. He's thrown 95. The last fastball came in at 93 miles an hour. Good block by Avila with a runner at third. 3-2 on Butler. Ankiel waiting on deck. Ground ball left side. They're going to try and score the run. The throw home is in time. Avila blocks the plate and Podsednik is out. Two gone.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch at how Scherzer attacked the dangerous Billy Butler. Billy Butler first pitch swinging on the fastball. He misses it. And then Scherzer starts to pick in the strike zone with a variety of different fastballs up, in, outside, off the plate, finally jamming Butler with a fastball. And Podsednik on third base tried to come home with the infield in, but he's able to tag him out. That's our Bell Tire pitch by pitch.
So with 2 outs, here's Ankiel. Stays a 2-run game, 5-3. Ankiel has an RBI and a walk in this game. Strike called, 1-1. One and two. Ankiel signed in January as a free agent with the Royals. And when he was considering where to play this year, he just basically felt that he had his best chance to start every day with this Kansas City team and play every day, and he has to this point. Takes strike call to the outside corner for strike 3, and that is the third of the game for Scherzer. You're watching Tigers baseball this afternoon on Fox Sports Detroit. Tigers left 18 men on base in a 9-inning game. Was it A, B, C, or D? And it was B, 1931 at Navin Field against the A's. It's that long since the Tigers had left 18. Of course, they left 18 men on base yesterday, so that was the last time it happened. Back at old Navin Field.
You've been there, haven't you?
Well, yeah, only when it was called Tiger Stadium. I'm not that old now. Come on.
I ain't.
0-2 on Jackson. Jackson, Damon, and Ordonez. Here's the 0-2. He went around, it looked like it. Yep. He's gone. Jackson is out. Of course, the A's at that time were the Philadelphia A's. That's how long ago it was. Here's Johnny Damon.
Hochevar's pitch count is in much better shape than Scherzer's, however. Scherzer probably done in this game after 5 innings, but he threw 100 pitches, did Max. Hochevar has thrown 68 pitches, and he's got a couple of outs to get here in the 5th.
Well, you talked earlier about the fact the Tigers got to get Johnny Damon going a little bit. There's no concern, obviously, but he is 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. Damon started quickly with a good first game against the Royals on opening day. And right now is average at 143. He has scored 4 runs, knocked in 3. Slaps that one foul. 1-2. Well, Scherzer, the victim of a big error in this game, right ahead of a Guillen 2-run homer. Otherwise, it might be a different day for him. High fly ball, shallow left, swirling, and Betancourt comes over to make a nice play.
It's a nice job by the shortstop. Captain in the infield, of course, Podsetnik in left. If he would have been able to catch that ball, he would have called off Betancourt. But as a shortstop, you have to make this play. It's a tough play for a new third baseman in Kayaspo. It's good communication there by the Royals defense.
Here's Ordonez with 2 outs. Maglio today has an RBI. 0 for 2. Hochevar, listed at 6'5", was a really good high school basketball player as well. In fact, as a senior, he was basketball player of the year in Division II in Colorado. Averaged 22 a game and 10 rebounds.
He's got an athletic family. His dad played some professional basketball. His mom was a good college basketball player. His sister plays professional volleyball in Puerto Rico. Some talent, some skills in that family.
Pretty much covers it. The 1-2. Ordonez 7 RBIs. Cabrera has 8 for the Tigers in the early going here.
A dynamic duo.
A little bit outside, looked like he held up.
Hochevar's stuff must be filthy today because we have seen about 4 or 5 Tigers already today on check swing for 2 strikes. And usually you don't see that many check swings unless a guy's got some really good stuff on the mound. Tigers hitters are not picking up the ball very well against Hochevar on 2-strike pitches.
Swing and a miss. And Ordonez is down. 5 strikeouts for Hochevar. A 1-2-3 5th inning.
And now it's time for Coors Light Freeze Cam. We're going to take you back to the second inning off the bat of Jose Guillen with Rick Ankiel running from first base. A sprawling diving catch by Inge and able to double off Ankiel back at first base. Outstanding play by Brandon Inge. Of course, Coors Light Freeze Cam is always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Giving Mark Burley a run for his money on defensive plays.
Yes, he is. However, that play that Mark Burley made,
it's still number one.
Yeah, it might be the best play of the year.
All right, Brad Thomas, the new pitcher, as the Royals come to the plate here in the sixth inning. Guillen leads it off. Scherzer is done for the afternoon. Here's the 1-0. Wall side windows pitching change with Brad Thomas checking in.
Thomas has got 4 pitches. He's got a fastball, he's got slider, curve, got change. Also, every now and then will throw you a fork ball. So he's got an assortment of pitches for a guy that's pitching out of the bullpen.
Bouncing ball to third, right at Brandon Inge. Belt high. 1 out. Thomas, one of a trio of lefties the Tigers have out of the bullpen. Foutain, Phil Koch, the other 2.
After Verlander pitched 5 innings yesterday, tremendous job by Bonine and also Koch to pitch the remainder of that game. They saved the bullpen yesterday, did Koch and Bonine.
Ball 1 to Jason Kendall. Here's a strike. Thomas last 2 seasons pitched over in Korea in the Korean Baseball League. Had 44 saves the last 2 years over there. And really pitched well at the end of spring training this season. That shot right at the first baseman, Miguel Cabrera. 2 gone. Right now we send it back to the studio. John Keating has a programming update on what's coming up tonight. John? Thank you very much, Keats. And with 2 outs, here is Yuniesky Betancourt.
He must have been talking about you, Masters. You gotta love John Keating.
Yes, you do.
I know I did.
It's never a routine toss, is it? There's always something extra on it.
He keeps you on your toes.
Single and a double for Betancourt. Batting just .227 this year. Here's the 1-0. Rolled foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. They've been trying to tighten up Betancourt really on both ends at the plate. You mentioned he's somewhat of a free swinger, but defensively he had his struggles last year as well. And Betancourt said it basically was because he wasn't playing at 100% physically last year.
Kansas City thought he was out of shape.
Yeah, that too. The 1-1.
They got him with the strength and fitness conditioning coach in the offseason, and he lost a few pounds, and they say he's moving better at the shortstop position and also running better this year because of the weight that he lost last year.
And that's one position where you really need some agility and some ability to move left to right. Some quickness. 3-1 on Betancourt. Chris Getz would be next if Betancourt can reach. And he does. Ball 4.
It's tough to walk him. Hey fans, the Tigers take on the Kansas City Royals tomorrow and Wednesday with 105 matinee games each day. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Just to finish that thought on Betancourt, something else that he brought up as one of the reasons why he hadn't played well the last couple of years. He said when he grew up in Cuba, they pretty much tell you what to do all the time. When to come to the ballpark, when to go home, when to eat, when to take your ground balls, which early work you need to do. He said when he got to Seattle a couple of years ago, it was a veteran-laden team, and they didn't work that much, and he was a guy that didn't really know how to work on his own. So he felt like his game struggled because of that, because he had been told what to do all the time in Cuba, and he wasn't getting that kind of leadership in Seattle.
Interesting. So it was much more structured, I guess, in Cuba then.
Well, it's like Japan. I played in Japan, and the Japanese players are the same way. You tell them what time to get up. You tell them when you're going to eat. You tell them when they're going to take ground balls. You tell them everything. So I can kind of understand exactly what he's talking about, because certain people in certain places are told what to do all the time.
Well, I think you also brought up a key point in the fact that he joined a team that had a lot of veterans. It wasn't a team that had a lot of youngsters that might have taken a lot of extra work.
And then when Don Wakamatsu and Jack Zarincic, the general manager of Seattle, kind of took over, they felt like he didn't have good work ethic. But he didn't know how to work on his own, that is.
1 ball and no strikes on Chris Getz. 2-0 now. Thomas retired the first 2 quite easily, but now he has run into a little bit of trouble here. And that's going to bring Rick Knapp out. Scherzer went the first 5 through 101 pitches and only gave up 2 earned runs. Jim Leyland's team jumped out to a 2-0 lead, fell behind 4-2. And now trail 5-3. Here are the final numbers on Max. You see the 5 runs, but only 2 earned. And that's high. Run it to 3-0 against the number 9 hitter. Royals trying to turn it over now and get to the top, and David DeJesus. Ball 4. Wasn't even close. Back-to-back walks to the 8 and 9 hitters in the lineup. So DeJesus will bat with 2 men on. Avila again goes back out to the mound. DeJesus has a double and a single in this game. David also has that errorless streak of 158 consecutive games without committing a miscue.
He's closing in on Amos Otis, Royals record.
And famous Amos not too far ahead of him now.
No. Handful.
Thomas having trouble finding the strike zone now. 1-0. He is within 7 games of equaling Amos Otis for the Royals record for outfielders.
2 handfuls then.
Handful and a half. Three errors today, 2 by Detroit, 1 by KC, and there's another one that misses outside. 2-0.
His fastball's firm at 93, 94, but for whatever reason, Thomas just having a difficult time of hitting Avila's glove.
In the meantime, they get on the phone. Bullpen will start to perk up a little bit. There's a strike. 2-1. Sarcastic cheer from the Tiger faithful today. Fu Te Ni warming up. Slice to the gap in left center, sinking, base hit. This will get a run in. Betancourt comes around to score. Getz will go to third, and it's a double for DeJesus and an RBI. A 2-out RBI double for David DeJesus after a pair of walks.
DeJesus is not afraid of left-handers anyway. And after Thomas had given him so many looks at fastballs, he timed this one perfectly. It's right down the middle. It's belt buckle high. and the ball is laced into the outfield.
They're going to actually give him a single. Second on the throw, and it's a 6-3 game. That's 10 hits now for KC.
I'm sure Tom Brookins, who handles the base running in the outfielders now that Van Slyke is no longer coaching on the Tigers staff, will tell Carlos that that's a play where he has to go to second base.
But Sednick has been on base twice. Well, we saw what a difference it can make if you don't cut down that extra 90 feet and throw the ball to second as opposed to third earlier in this game.
Minor adjustment on Guillen's part. Also got to get some help from your middle infielders in Santiago and also Jackson, the center fielder. Sometimes when you're in the outfield and the game speeds up, you just don't know where to throw the ball, but it can help you if those guys are yelling to you, throw the ball to second.
Right back up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. This might get 2 more in. 1 run scores. Jackson's throw to the plate hits the mound, and 2 runs are in as DeJesus comes in as well.
And that's why you throw the ball to second, because on the base hit they get the 1 run instead of 2 runs.
So as it goes, Sednick now has his 3rd hit.
But Thomas didn't help himself by walking Betancourt, who was almost unwalkable, and then gets after 2 are out.
Royals now have opened up a 5-run lead, 8-3. Here's Callaspo. Ball 1. A couple of big innings today for the Royals. They had a 4-run 4th. They have a 3-run 6th. And this is a Kansas City team that, at least in the early goings, has been among the better offensive clubs in the American League. Tigers came in as a team hitting .304, the best in the AL. KC was 5th. One ball, 1 strike. Inside, back him out of there. 2-1. Looked like this might be a lazy inning for Thomas. He retired 2, but then the walks to the 8 and 9 men. DeJesus banged 1 in with a base hit, but Sednick knocks in 2 more. Of course, the Tigers in the 6th inning were trailing big yesterday, 7-3. They trail 8-3 right now. A comeback win for Detroit, culminating with a 3-run 9th. Missed it inside. 3-1. Ground ball to third. Brandon gobbles it up. He'll go the short way to second for the force, and the side retired. So they send 7 men to the plate. Big inning for KC. They get 3. Using your cell phone, text Tigers followed by a space in the player's uniform number to 37338. That's FSDET. See the final results post-game during Tigers Live and check your text response for special offers from McDonald's. Tigers are going to have to come back again today. They are down 8-3 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Luke Hochevar back to the hill facing Miguel Cabrera. And he'll be followed by Carlos Guillen and then Brandon Inge.
I was kind of wondering which Hochevar we would see here this afternoon. And the reason I say that, on Wednesday in Kansas City, it was that real cold, blustery night where they played about 4 innings in rain. And, of course, Hochevar grew up in Denver, Colorado, and he's accustomed to pitching in that type of weather and said he likes to pitch in that type of weather. And he also recognizes that hitters don't like to hit on nights like that. So I was kind of wondering whether he would be as effective today. And he has been very effective today.
Well, the Tigers got him for 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, but that's it. An error came into play as well in that 3rd inning. The 2-1.
He has had really nice back-to-back starts against Detroit. And I don't think he is shaking off Jason Kendall at all. He is following the lead of their veteran catcher. And really, that's why Kendall was brought in, to get guys like Hoche and Bannister to take the next step, because they don't worry about Greinke.
Second walk of the game for Hochevar. Rayburn was his other. Let me bring up Carlos Guillen. Well, Hochevar was highly thought of coming out of college at Tennessee. In fact, he was a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award in 2005, which was won by his current teammate, Alex Jordan. But Hochevar had terrific numbers at Tennessee. In fact, ranked 2nd in school history in strikeouts with almost 300. Carlos homered in his last at bat. A solo shot brought the Tigers to within 1 at that point. First home run of the season. One ball, one strike on Guillen. 3 hits on the homestand, a couple of extra base hits. Ball outside, 2-1.
Kind of surprised that Billy Butler not playing behind Cabrera at first base. Cabrera not going anywhere. Tigers down by 5. And if you're Butler in this count, 2 balls and 1 strike, a predictable fastball count, you would think that he would play behind him, because that would give him a better chance of making a play on a ball should Guillen hit one in that direction.
Bob McClure, the pitching coach, is out to have a talk with Hochevar. He's fallen behind Guillen after walking Miguel Cabrera. His teammates had gotten him 3 more in the top of this inning.
That might be one of those visits by McClure. Obviously, he wants to slow Hochevar down and to get back to what's allowed him to be successful in this game, but he also wants to keep in mind, just don't throw Carlos Guillen a fastball on the inner third of the plate, because if you do, he might trot again around the base paths, as he's already done once today.
Missed again, 3-1. Well, this is how the Tigers were able to crawl back into that game yesterday with some base on balls. Brandon Inge waiting on deck. Guillen takes ball 4, back-to-back walks.
Hey fans, visit the official online shop of the Detroit Tigers at Tigers.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic Tigers merchandise, including clubhouse caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and a whole lot more. Get your gear straight from the source at the Tigers.com shop.
Trey Hillman looks over the lineup card, or
John
Gibbons, rather. And Brandon Inge straightens up and takes one inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Inge with a double back in the second. The Tigers failed to score him, though. That double came with 2 outs. Hochevar trying to pitch out of a jam. And there's a strike, 1-1. Here's John Parrish, the left-hander, beginning to tune up now for the Royals. Of course, remember the Royals bullpen really could not hold the Tigers in that 3-game series in KC to start the year. It's popped up. Back into the seats it goes. Well, the relievers gave up 18 hits in 9 1/3 innings in that series in Kansas City.
14 earned runs. Their starters only gave up 2 earned runs.
Hochevar's over 90 pitches now. Bouncing ball foul, third base side. $11 hits today for the Royals, just 5 for the Tigers, but Detroit trying to take advantage of 2 walks here in the 6th. And Leland has to feel that if he can chip away here only in the 6th inning, get into that bullpen, it certainly could be a different game. 5-run spread right now. Again foul. Remember yesterday the Tigers had 18 hits in that game. 16 of them were singles. Today they have a couple of extra base hits, homer and a double. The 1-2 is grounded foul. Brandon now is just 90 hits shy of reaching the 1,000 plateau in his career. Checked it. 2-2. There's that pitch count on Hochevar now, 95 total. Had a couple of long ones, the 3rd and 4th. Missed again. 3-2. Rounded toward 3rd. It's a foul ball. Iaspo was standing there with his foot on the bag in case they called it fair. This will be the 10th pitch coming up in this at bat.
And more than likely, it's Hochevar's last hitter he'll face in this game, regardless of what Inge does. With the left-handed Avila waiting on deck.
Drill down the left field line. Fair ball. What an at bat for Brandon. 1 run will score. That is Cabrera. They're going to wave around the runner behind him, Guillen. And he will score as well. Brandon Inge has a 2-run double.
I don't know how in the world Brandon Inge was able to keep this ball fair, but he was able to do as much. This is a good firm fastball on the inside part of the plate. Now look at Brandon pull his hands inside here. You see the hands up in this direction. That's the only way that you get to the ball, to allow the barrel of the bat to be over the heart of the plate. Now your natural reactions just take over, and he kept that ball fair. It is unbelievable that he kept that ball fair.
And there will be a pitching change. So Hochevar is done. He gives up 2 walks, a 2-run double. Tigers back into this game. We'll step aside as Parrish comes trotting in. Hochevar knocked out of the game. And John Parrish will come on to face Alex Avila. Here are the numbers on Hochevar.
Hochevar had the same issues that Thomas had in the 6th inning, a couple of walks that came around to score.
There are some spring numbers on John Parrish, the former Baltimore Oriole.
Parrish not a hard thrower. And really needs to spot his fastball, which allows him to get to his breaking ball and his changeup. If he falls behind hitters, he gets hit rather hard.
Alex Avila is 0 for 2, trying to drive in another run here for the Tigers. They have answered the Royals' 3 spot with a 2 of their own here in the 6th.
And very important for Avila in this situation with nobody out to at least try to get Brandon over to third base, which would make it easier. And for the next couple of hitters to score him from third. If you drive him in, that's even better.
Oh, 2 on Alex. Fly ball and a ground out in this game.
How about the start Brandon Inge is off to?
Red hot, isn't it? We talked about Ordonez and Cabrera, but 2 more doubles today. Inge now is hit safely in all 7.
He is right up there with the big boys.
John Parrish, 32 years old. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, his hometown. He went around and looked. Yes, the appeal down at third. Honora said he went, and Avila is out. 1 gone. Pretty clear there. He's going to bring up Ryan Rayburn. Parrish is a guy that has really had to battle some major injuries in his career, including Tommy John. He tore his ACL back in 2002, early in his career with Baltimore. Spent some years with the Orioles and then Seattle and Toronto last year. Ball 1. Rayburn doubled in the 4th inning. Tigers have 4 extra base hits in this game. Strike called. 1-1. 2-1 on Ryan Raber. Minnesota's opening up their new ballpark today, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Regular season, and what an opponent, the Boston Red Sox.
Tough customer. Especially with that pitching staff they have. I think it's John Lester.
It is.
On the mound for the Boston Red Sox.
And Pavano will go for the Twins, who are 5-2. The Tigers at 5-1. Swinging a high fly ball, hit well into left field. Going to stay in the park, though. But Setnick under it for the out, and Inge will hold. 2 gone. So Parrish to this point doing his job, and Santiago coming up. Ramon has fanned twice in this game, 0 for 2. Sliced foul back out of play, 0-1. Parrish replacing Hochevar here in the 6th inning. 2-run double by Inge, chasing the Royals starter. Tomorrow in game 2, Bannister and Dontrell Willis. And then Porcello and Kyle Davies on Wednesday. Strike, 0-2. Little chopper hit back to the mound. Parrish does a nice job, comes out of the bullpen, gets 3 outs, and strands that double, but the Tigers get 2, and we go to the 7th. The 6th is now 8-5, 3-run game, and pretty good crowd here today. Better than 17,000 fans, 17,058.
Not bad for Monday afternoon.
Not bad at all. Paul's just kind of hanging out,
chilling,
getting some sun. Well, here we go in the 7th inning. It'll be Billy Butler leading it off. Ankiel and then Guillen. Tapped foul at home plate. Brad Thomas is out there. Came on in the 6th inning and surrendered a 3-run frame after it retired the first 2 batters. Butler 1 for 3, had an RBI double in the 4th. Ball Foul high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Scherzer threw 101 pitches through 5 innings today for Detroit before giving way. Hochevar threw 98 pitches. Bouncing ball left side. Santiago with the running scoop. Butler is out, 1 gone. Now Rick Ankiel.
Thomas is really fighting his control out there. He's thrown 32 pitches, 19 balls, 13 strikes.
And he continues to fight it. 2-0. Three balls and no strikes. Three and one on Rick Ankiel, former St. Louis Cardinal. Boy, was he considered a big-time pitching prospect. He came up early in his career, made the shift to the outfield position. He'll hit that one to Cabrera for the out. 2 gone.
Hey fans, our next April and D telecast is tomorrow with the middle game of this series against the Royals. Coverage begins just prior to the first pitch at 1 p.m. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire tomorrow afternoon on Fox Sports Detroit and in high def on Fox Sports Detroit HD.
These two guys hooked up as well last week in KC. Bannister and Dontrell Willis tomorrow. Right back up the middle into center field, a base hit.
He loves to hit the first pitch fastball. And he is hitting the ball awfully hard right now, too, in Guillen.
Second hit of the day for Jose Guillen.
Balls just make a different sound off guys that got some serious bat speed coming to the strike zone. That was a loud single. It's a good thing it didn't hit Thomas.
Here's Jason Kendall. Well, tomorrow's going to be fun to watch Dontrell Willis pitch, make his second start. He did so well in KC in his first outing. There's strike 1.
I really like the way that he ended the game as well. He ended the game that afternoon very aggressive. I think the last fastball he threw was a strikeout about 93 miles an hour. Those 2 walks came in the very first inning. So he settled in nicely. It's a good pitch right there and a good call by Avila. And because Thomas has been struggling to throw his fastball, why not call for a breaking ball to see if he could find a good release point, which he did, and he threw a really good curveball there to Kendall. Fastball inside.
And on his hands, and he broke his bat. Dave Owen will hand out a souvenir.
Avila set up inside, and Thomas threw it in there.
Two on Jason Kendall. He has caught a ton of games in the big leagues, over 1,900 games. That's in the air and hit well to right center field. Jackson is on the run. He's going to get there. Side retired. We go to the stretch. Jackson, Damon, Ordonez coming up.
Well, he's done a pretty nice job of table setting at the top of that batting order. He got himself a hanging breaking ball in the first. And then in the third, a nice little two-seam fastball by Hochevar running in on his hands. But Jackson able to fight that ball off for a solid single in the right field.
We'll try and get it going here in the bottom of the seventh. Tigers down by 3 runs, 8-5. And the first pitch right at the knees from John Parrish, 0-1.
We have not seen Jackson bunt for a base hit in a game yet. But that is part of his game.
Oh, 2.
And he may as well show bunt every now and then, because Kayasco at third base, even before there was 2 strikes, he was playing exactly where he's playing right now, 10 steps in back of that third base bag. But if you got speed like Jackson, you at least want the third baseman to come in, which helps you sometimes when you hit ground balls down in that direction. You hit them past the third baseman because they are drawn in.
That'll go the other way into right field and hit well, but Jesus will track it down. I still think Jackson, Rod, as he continues to mature, is a guy that can hit you some home runs. He only had 4 last year.
I think he's going to be a 20 home run guy, at least 20 stolen bases. In the big leagues, he's got that kind of potential, that kind of bat speed. And he is getting more confident and gaining more confidence daily.
Here's Johnny Damon. Well, tip of the cap so far to Parrish. He got 3 Tigers with a runner at second base in the 6th, and now he's gotten Jackson here in the 7th. This was the sore spot for Kansas City in that 3-game series against the Tigers. Their bullpen just couldn't hold the Detroit offense. And they've got some guys at the back end of their bullpen that can really bring it. Guys like Farnsworth, Tejeda, Sori.
It's kind of puzzling that they had such a poor year last year, and they started out this year poorly as well, because those guys can throw.
And there's one of them, Kyle Farnsworth. Two and 1 on Damon.
Well, Farnsworth is getting ready for Maglio, possibly, and Caprera, depending on what happens here with Damon.
Damon looks at a strike, and the count evens now 2-2 on Johnny. He's 0 for 2 today. hit by a pitch. His middle time up. Damon is a guy that year after year after year, regardless of the team he played for, whether it was Kansas City, Oakland, Boston, would give you 100 runs scored. Slap toward left field. But Setnik is there, and Damon is out. 2 gone. So let's see if they want Farnsworth to pitch to Maglio, but with the bases empty, perhaps Parrish will try and finish it off.
Good point. I'm sure hadn't Damon reached, Trey Hillman would have gone to his bullpen and gotten Farnsworth for Mags. But these days for Maglio, it really doesn't matter who is on the hill.
That is true.
Although he is nothing for 3 today.
Driven to center field. And Keel gets there, and the Tigers go 1-2-3, 6 up, 6 down against Parrish out of their bullpen. 7 in the books. Watching Tigers baseball. Tigers trail this one 8-5 as we go to the top of the 8th inning now at Comerica Park. The opening game in this 3-game series against the Kansas City Royals. Brad Thomas goes out there for another inning of work. First pitch strike on Unieski Betancourt. It'll be Betancourt, Getz, and DeJesus here in the 8th. Thomas came on in the 6th, pitched through the 7th. Now another inning of work. A bouncing ball to short. On the backhand, Santiago shoots him down. 1 gone.
It's a good play. I know you always hear high school kids and college kids, the coaches always talking about get in front of the play. But here's a play where actually it's better to field it this way. Because now he plants the right foot after fielding the ball backhanded. And all he does is take one short crow hop back toward first base, which allows him to get very good arm strength across the diamond. If you get in front of that ball, then you have to move your feet a little bit more to get the job done.
Getz thought about laying one down. 1 ball and no strikes.
So these guys in the big leagues, they don't always get in front of it. They try to make the easiest play possible. And that kind of goes back to something that we were talking about last half inning when Betancourt was up and some of the struggles that he had in the past. The fact that he always felt like he didn't have good work ethic on his own because he'd always been taught what to do. That particular play right there, the Japanese players, they get in front of that ball because they don't ever practice backhands. They get in front of everything.
There's a strike call. Were there any other ways, and you having played in Japan, Any other ways of how they went about their business on a daily basis that was maybe different than how they do it here in the States?
You don't run over the catchers, for one.
Really?
The Japanese players never, ever run over catcher. Even if the catcher's blocking the plate, they slide into the shin guards. And in the middle of the infield, the base runners do not take out the second baseman and the shortstop very aggressive either. So a lot of your shortstops and your second basemen, when they come over to the United States, they're not very good at turning the double play because they're not used to being taken out aggressively the way that the American players break up double plays.
There's a guy that used to take out some second basemen and some shortstops in his day.
Cleats are flying, too.
Tigers Raymond Cobb. 3-2 on Chris Getz. What about the way they would work out? I've heard some stories about how pitchers and how much pitchers would throw over in Japan.
Pitchers throw every day.
Yeah.
And literally, guy will throw one day, the next day he's out throwing a bullpen, and he will throw 3 more bullpens until his next start. And that's one of the reasons why Japanese players usually have very good control, because they throw a lot.
Lost him. Getz walks for the second time in this game.
Daisuke Matsuzaka, when he first came to the Boston Red Sox, John Farrell, their pitching coach, had to scale back his workouts for that same very reason, throwing too much.
Well, the Tigers go right back to their bullpen. Brad Thomas is out. They'll step aside. Pitching change here in Detroit. They lead in this one 8-5. Brad Thomas done for the afternoon, and he will give way to Fute Ni, another left-hander coming out of the Detroit bullpen.
Pretty good numbers against the Kansas City Royals in 6 games. 1.69 earned run average. Opponent's batting average .222 for Kansas City against Fute Ni. And he hit a couple of batters in that Cleveland series. He had a tough time of gripping the baseball. A couple breaking balls slipped out of his hand, and he hit a couple of left-handers square in the back.
He is a native of Taiwan. He is the first native of Taiwan to appear at the major league level with the Tigers. Nice year last year. Spent some time in AAA, but after he was called up, he appeared in 36 games, had an ERA of 2.61. The 0-1 pitch. He shows bunt. Strike call. They say he offered, and Jesus doesn't like it. Royals really had some pop from the top.
Combined .455 batting average, 16 total bases for Pasetnik and DeJesus.
All of that against Detroit this year. 0-2 on DeJesus. Tigers have been doubled up in the hit column, 12-6. DeJesus today with an RBI single, a double, and another base hit. Getz gets back. Two big innings today for the Royals, a 4-run fourth, a 3-run sixth. And they're hoping their bullpen today can hold on to the lead. Avila down to block it. Getz will try and move up, and he does. So put another man in scoring position now for KC.
Awfully tough to block that ball, then locate it and try to get a speedy runner like Getz. Getz with a good secondary lead, reads the breaking ball down in the dirt, off as soon as the ball hits the dirt. That's the reason why he's safe.
Looked like Avila at that time did pretty much everything you're supposed to do, but sometimes you just can't control the bounce, can you?
No, cannot, especially on a breaking ball. You don't know which kind of action the ball has on it when it does hit that dirt.
Fouled away.
For whatever reason, Kansas City has played some real good baseball in Detroit. They have the last couple of years. They are 11-7 since the beginning of 2008. And the rest of the American League Central is a combined 25-32 here at Comerica Park. So Kansas City, the only Central team that comes in here and acts like they're playing at home.
Swing and a miss. DeJesus is out of there.
And that's something the Tigers were just really good at last year, at playing at home. This was a tremendous home court advantage for Detroit.
Well, think back to the stretch run of 06 and what Kansas City did the last weekend here.
Yep.
Big strikeout for Knee, and with two gone, Scott Podsednik. Podsednik hits the dirt.
Apparently he's having a tough time gripping that breaking ball again today, because that's exactly how the couple of left-handers were hit in the Cleveland series with that breaking ball that looked like it slipped out of his hand.
Big day for Podsednik. 2 RBI single back in the 6th. Been on base 3 times. Here's the 1-0. Podsednik stole a base earlier in this game and is now 5 for 5 in that category. That floats in for a strike. 1-2.
Good breaking ball there by Knee. Whatever adjustment he needed to make, he made it. And that was a dandy.
Into right center field, base hit. Podsednik does it again. This will get a run in, and a big run for the Royals. It's a 4-run spread now, 9-5.
He is off to a good start, but really he had a really good year last year, hitting .300 for the White Sox and stealing 30 bases. He was one of their better hitters last year. He took the breaking ball knowing he was going to get a fastball with a 2-strike pitch. Good, compact, short, quick swing by Podsednik. What a start he's off to.
I would say so. That's his 4th hit today, and he has 3 RBIs.
You think the White Sox will miss him? I know they got Juan Pierre playing in the outfield now, but well, it's hard to believe that Pierre is going to be any better than he was last year.
I would agree, and it's kind of strange to think why they would let him walk. I mean, it's not like he had a bad season. He was terrific for them at the top of their lineup. That is the 13th career 4-hit game for Podsednik. Meanwhile, Kayaspo trying to keep this inning going, and 13 hits now for the Royals.
I got the Tigers having walked 5 batters in this game today, 4 of which have touched home plate.
A telling stat indeed, including the one here in the 8th inning. They had 2 score in the 6th. And another one in the 4th.
Sometimes you can get away with that, but the Tigers pitching has not been able to get away with it today.
That run is charged to Thomas, who started the inning. 0-2 on Alberto Kayaspo. Get back into the seats. 1-2, the count stays. The only Tigers lead of this game was early when they got 2 against Hochevar in the 3rd. It led 2-0, but it's been all Royals since. Carlos Guillen has homered in this game. Another toss back. Podsednik drawing a close look from knee. Fouled away again. The Royals have had some pretty good at-bats in this game. Thinking back to early in the game when Jose Guillen had a couple of lengthy at-bats, double-digit at-bats.
Yep.
Scherzer, in fact, threw 101 pitches in 5 innings of work, so they were able to get his pitch count up. A lot of Red Wings fans here today looking forward to the first round of the playoffs against Phoenix. The 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Kayaspo.
We gotta wait for a break in the action. Get this last out.
Kayaspo today has a walk and a run scored, otherwise 0 for 3. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Rayburn has it go under the glove. He booted it. And the inning is still alive.
Remember, we were just talking about that play that Santiago made when Betancourt hit that ground ball where he backhanded that ball, which was an easier play for him. Here you see Rayburn tries to get over and to get in front of this ball, and the ball takes a little tricky hop on him and stays down as he picks his glove up and doesn't field it cleanly. That may have been another play where you could backhand that as well, although there was still plenty of time to get there.
Tigers have their 3rd error of the afternoon and 1st of the season for Rayburn. It'll keep the inning going, and the problem is here you face Billy Butler.
For the most part all year, the Tigers are playing some real clean baseball defensively. They've thrown to the right bases, haven't made a whole lot of mistakes, hadn't walked a lot of hitters. But today, it's been one of those games where they just have not played real clean baseball.
Well, they had committed just 2 errors in their first 6 games of the year, but 3 this afternoon alone.
When you play a 162 game schedule, you're bound to have a game or 2 like this.
Two 2-0 on Butler. Line drive to left, base hit. This might get another run in. Guillen charges it, comes up throwing. The throw to the plate not in time. A run will score.
And every time the Tigers make a mistake, Kansas City has been able to capitalize.
Sednick scores on the play to make it a 10-5 game. Butler has his second RBI of the day. Well, the big capitalization was back in the 4th inning when Cabrera dropped a foul pop that would have ended the inning, and it kept it going for Guillen, who hit a 2-run homer off Scherzer. And that error right there by Rayburn keeps an inning going, and Butler is able to cash in. Here's Ankiel. Ball 1. Ankiel with an RBI. He has a walk as well today. Right in front of the plate, Avila gets it before it rolls foul, and Cabrera pulled his foot off the bag. So says Chris Guccione, and everybody is safe. It looked like Avila was going to make a really good play there before the ball went foul, but his throw pulled Cabrera off the bag.
Good heads-up play by Avila, picking the ball up before the ball did roll foul. He fires the ball in the dirt. Cabrera picks it. But once he reached out to pick it, he was unable to keep his left foot on the bag. And Chris Guccione is right there on the play.
Good call. Another Tigers error, E2. They have charged Avila with an error on that play, and that's the 4th of the game now for Detroit. Bases are loaded. And ball 1 to Guillen. Royals today sent 9 men to the plate in the 4th. They sent 7 men in the 6th, and this is the 8th man to bat here in the 8th. Two and 0. Guillen 2 hits, 2 RBIs, including a homer. Fourteen hits for the Royals, 4 errors for the Tigers. Outside, 3-1, and no place to put him. Ooh, he had a rip on 3-1, sent it right back to the screen. 3-2 on Guillen.
He was looking to do some trotting on that swing, partner. He lifted and he separated on that 3-1 fastball right down the middle. But usually when you swing that hard, you don't make contact.
Well, with the big day already, as you say, just trying to get greedy here and add to those totals. 2 RBIs, 2 hits. Here's the 3-2 and a swing and a miss. Knee strikes him out. 8 men to the plate. They add 2 more. It'll be Cabrera, Guillen, and Inge coming up. Wallside Windows. For a free in-home estimate, call 1-800-521-7800. And by Bell Tire. Get the best tire price, period. Call Bell Tire. Well, one of those days at the ballpark. Tigers have committed 4 errors in this game. That little one really doesn't care, though. The Tigers are down 10-5. Got a rally claw out here in the bottom of the 8th. And we have a new pitcher on for Kansas City as well. It's a former Tiger. It is Kyle Farnsworth.
He's been in 3 games now. Counting today would be 4. He's 1-0. No holds. A 3.38 earned run average. Logging 2 2/3 innings with a couple of strikeouts and no walks for big Kyle Farnsworth. He's a hard thrower. Fastball anywhere from 97 and above. And a slider. Not many changeups for Kyle.
Mitch Meyer is the new left fielder. Podsednik is out of this game. Here's Cabrera to lead off the bottom of the 8th. And it's driven toward the shortstop, and it gets by Betancourt into left. Another rifle shot from Cabrera.
Yeah, that would have been a good play had Betancourt been able to knock it down. Even if he knocks it down and doesn't catch it cleanly, he's still got a chance to get it out at first. Fox pitch track is telling us Cabrera should have crushed that fastball on the inner third of the plate. That's his happy zone, his hot zone.
First hit of the game for Miguel. That'll bring up Carlos Guillen. Tigers as a team have 7 hits.
Cabrera's been on base 8 of his last 10 plate appearances.
Pretty impressive. And he's got a walk today to go with a single.
Yeah, he was on base 6 times yesterday. First time in his career, as a matter of fact, that Cabrera reached base safely in all 6 plate appearances yesterday afternoon here against Cleveland.
1 ball, 1 strike on Guillen. Homer and a walk for Carlos. He has scored twice. Farnsworth, meanwhile, 2 tours of duty with Detroit. 1-1 is inside. He was a Tiger in 05 and then was traded away to Atlanta and then reacquired in 08. Pulled off the glove of Butler into short right field. That probably would have been a double play.
That's the point that I was making earlier in the game. Why is he not playing behind Cabrera there anyway? If he's playing behind him, he makes this play, but he's playing right on the bag, and this is an absolute bullet. And Carlos continues to get it done late in innings. Yesterday, in the bottom half of the 8th inning, he singled sharply into the outfield. Then, of course, he came up again in the 9th inning after Cabrera walked and doubled down in the right field corner. So very nice for Guillen to start to get it done after Cabrera has been on the base paths. He's been getting it done late.
A really good sign. Single homer and a walk today for Guillen. Big day yesterday late. 10-5. Tigers trying to claw back again. Here's Brandon Inge. A couple of hard hit balls against Farnsworth. 2 for 3 for Brandon with 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. Off the end of the bat. 0-2 on Inge. He's driven in 6 now, and Brandon has hit safely in all 7 this year. Brandon's longest career hitting streak is 13. He's more than halfway there. And he's behind in the count, 1-2. Right back to the mound and caught on a line. And Butler can't hold on, otherwise they get a double play.
That's why, as a pitcher, your pitching coach tells you to never lob the baseball. After Farnsworth makes a very nice play here and doesn't panic after the ball hits his glove, bounces up, he makes the play. Now watch him lob it here instead of just throwing it. If he throws it, he usually probably throws that ball up and they get the double play.
Butler unable to pick it. Tigers get a break there. 1 gone. Here's Alex Avila. 0 for 3 for Alex. Ball 1. Farnsworth out of the bullpen. Parrish has pitched out of their bullpen. Two and 0. And they have more action in their bullpen as well. Soria and Hughes. Hughes the lefty. Soria the closer. Threw it by him. 2-1.
High octane fastball at 97. Tough to catch up around the letters.
That's in the air toward left. Mitch Meyer has a beat on it. 2 gone. That's going to leave it up to Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn's had a pretty good day. He's walked, he's doubled. Fouls it straight back. 0-1. The Royals, pitching-wise, coming into this game, this is as a staff, not just their bullpen, but overall, they were dead last in team ERA, 5.63. Surprisingly, the Angels were right above them at 5.57. They've come out of the chute struggling. The 0-1. (10-5) Royals lead. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Tigers have trailed since the 4th inning in this one after jumping out to a 2-0 lead. Oh, look out, he hit him. That got him on the wrist.
Ouch.
Rayburn had no chance of getting out of the way. Well, actually, it wasn't the wrist. It was near the elbow, the forearm. That's probably a better thing. At least there's more muscle there.
Yep.
So that's going to load the bases and make it somewhat interesting here.
We don't usually see Trey Hillman stroll out to the mound unless he's going to make a pitching change. It's usually Bob McClure that does that work for Trey. But apparently he had a special message for Mr. Farnsworth.
Well, I'm sure he has no interest in watching this one slip away, especially the way his bullpen performed in KC against the Tigers. Parrish gave them some good work. Now Farnsworth has loaded the bases. 2 singles and a hit batter, and here's Santiago. Strike 1. 95 on that fastball. He's faced Farnsworth just once. He's 0 for 1 career against him. Cabrera down at third. Guillen at second base. Rayburn at first. Fouled away. Now it's 0-2.
With the kind of stuff that Farnsworth has, it's amazing that he gets hit as hard as he does from time to time. 97, 98, 99 with his fastball.
Cabrera hit a bullet in this inning. Guillen hit a bullet in this inning. 1-2. He has come right at Santiago here with upper 90s fastballs. There's another one at 96 miles an hour that missed. 2-2 on Santiago. Tigers one big hit away here from getting back into this thing late in the game. Now he wants his catcher to come out, Kendall. Santiago could reach. He'll turn it over to Austin Jackson waiting on deck. Now the 2-2. Little pop up, shallow center field. Betancourt goes back to get it. Nice play. Tigers leave them loaded. We head to the 9th. It'll be Kendall, Betancourt, and Getz coming up. 5 in favor of Kansas City, and Jason Kendall leads it off against Fute-Ni. Line drive, fair ball down the left field line. Extra bases for Jason Kendall. He'll pull into second base with a leadoff double.
The new additions to the Kansas City Royals roster continue to get it done. Kendall, Passett, Getz, and Keel, all having nice afternoons.
Well, apparently, at least to this point, a very good offseason for the Royals and retooling their lineup and their team. Here's Betancourt. Double single and a walk for Unieski. So 15 hits now for the Royals today. Ball 1 from Fute-Ni. Two and 0. Tigers have put up 8 hits in this one. And the Royals today have been really busy offensively. They've had at least one base runner in every inning. Tigers turned a couple of double plays early. Ball outside. 3-0. Now the 3-0 pitch. He's taking 3-1. Line drive caught by the shortstop Santiago. 1 out. Kendall holds. He's going to bring up Chris Getz. Don't forget Willis tomorrow against Bannister. 2 more to go in this series, and then it's going to be Porcello on Wednesday against Kyle Davies. Enjoy your day off on Thursday, Rod, because we've got a long stretch coming up.
Yes, indeed.
Out to the West Coast.
11 games in what, 12 days?
Yeah.
Well, 11 days really, because the day off doesn't count. That's a travel day.
Right. That's what a lot of these guys have to deal with. Really, there are very few true off days because many of them are spent traveling.
Yep. Very seldom do you have an off day when you're already at home and you can just really enjoy it when you're starting a series the next day.
Here's the 1-0 to Getz. Almost hit him. Two 2-0 on Chris Getz. On Getz.
Well, Getz has already walked twice today.
Thomas walked him both times.
And scored the 2 times he had been walked.
There's a strike. Getz thought he had ball 4. He's called back by Phil Cuzzy. There's another strike. Getz again trying to work a walk, and Phil Cuzzy having a chat with him now.
Getz wants to walk. Phil Cuzzy's like swing the bat. Been here for 4 hours and 20 minutes. Let's go. Swing the bat.
He even motioned him into the batter's box.
He better be swinging now.
That's true.
Anything close.
Here comes the 3-2 from Futeni. Checked his swing, and he held it up. There's your ball 4. So Getz walks for the 3rd time, and he's been thrown out. No, they called him out. They called him out. How long did that take?
Well, I guess it took Avila a long time to ask for some help.
Well, here's the swing. Oh, he definitely went.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
He was walking to first.
I think Avila thought it was strike 3.
Now he asks.
Yeah.
And now you're out.
Don't mess with them umpires.
That was the longest appeal play I think I've ever seen.
I think Avila recognized the fact that Getz had swung at that 2-strike pitch, and he didn't think that there needed to be a call from third base umpire.
Well, that is that as DeJesus pops up. We're going to get to the bottom of the 9th. Tiger is down by 5. The 9th, here's our Comerica game summary. The Royals' 4th inning. They had 5 hits, a home run, and scored 4 runs. One of the big innings in this game. Tigers have committed 4 errors and 4 unearned runs as a result in this game as well. Brandon Inge has hit safely in every game so far this year. Brandon with 2 more doubles in this game today, plus 2 RBIs. But the Tigers find themselves down 5 as we go to the bottom of the 9th. And Detroit will have the top of the order. Austin Jackson leads it off. Jackson looks at strike 1. He'll be followed by Johnny Damon and then Maglio Ordonez. Dusty Hughes, the new pitcher.
3rd game this year for Dusty Hughes. Elevated earned run average. When you play early in the year, if you give up a couple of runs, you're going to have to wait a couple of weeks to try to get that earned run average back down to a respectable number.
1-1 pitch. On the ground left side. Scooping at 3rd, Callaspo.
Hey fans, all you can eat seats at Comerica Park are now on sale. Located at the upper suite level, seats come with an endless supply of hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken, soft drinks, and more. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. An endless supply.
Now, if that's me, I think I'd have me a burger in the 1st, a hot dog in the 2nd, and some chicken in the 3rd. And then just restart the rotation in the 4th inning.
For sure.
Just keep going all day.
All you can eat.
Here's Johnny Damon. Slapped it foul. Damon hitless today, 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch back in the third. Another foul. 1-2. Well, if the Tigers fail to come back in this one, they would drop to 5-2 with 2 more to go in this series. Minnesota underway at home against Boston today as they open up Target Field. Although they did play a couple of exhibition games there, and those that have been there have said that that place is really nice. So we look forward to making our first trip into Minnesota this year. 2-2 pitch is low. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
We get a chance to see a couple of new facilities this year. I know the new Shea Stadium.
Citi Field.
Citi Field, yeah. We didn't see that last year. Of course, it opened up, but we get a chance to see it this year.
I've heard that place is very nice as well. 1 out walk. Damon is aboard for the second time. Here comes Maglio Ordonez. Ordonez has an RBI today, and he backs out of there with a pitch inside. 1-0. Strike on the outer edge. 1-1. Dusty Hughes, only 5'10", 186 out of Tupelo, Mississippi. Appeared in the big leagues for the first time last year with the Royals. Very briefly, though. He pitched in 8 games. Actually made 1 start. Kendall boxed that one, but it's called a strike. 1-2. One and 2 on Maglio Ordonez. Two and 2. Checked it. He was asking for an appeal, but Phil Cuzzi said, I don't need one. He didn't go. 3 and 2. Cabrera waiting on deck. High fly ball. Shallow center field. Ankiel coming in. 2 gone.
Let's take a look at our Comcast high-speed pitches of the afternoon. Courtesy of Kyle Farnsworth. He hit 98 last half inning and went as low as 82 with his breaking ball. He's got a big arm, does Kyle Farnsworth.
Now Cabrera, the final opportunity for the Tigers. They're playing behind Damon, so he'll just walk to second base. Two and 0. Cabrera today with a 1 for 3 plus a walk, still batting .500. High drive into right field, but it looks like it's going to end the game. De Jesus goes back to the corner, and that is that. The Royals take game 1 in this series against the Tigers. Their bullpen did the job today, unlike the 3-game series in KC, and they come away with a 5-run win. 10-5 our final score. Back with more from Comerica Park in a moment.